Hello, welcome to the daily political tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. I'm here 365 days of the year to take your 12 questions out of the chat and answer them to the best of my ability, just pulling on the collective energy in general. This is never 100% accurate. That's not how this works. For those of you who have similar spiritual beliefs, we believe that all of our souls are small pieces of the divine and that we are all connected and we form a collective energy, and that it is possible to interact with that energy because we are a part of it, and that individuals are not, well, let's just say if you do really nasty things, hiding it is not really an option because it's in your energy field. But those are our spiritual beliefs. But if that's not your spiritual belief, then it's just entertainment, So anyway. I'm glad you like the borders today. I was very pleased with this because I really wanted to do justice to. I haven't worn them yet. Sarah's Christmas present to me. You ready for this? Let me show you. Look. How cool are those? That's what Sarah got me for Christmas. So I wanted to do them justice. Anyway. Oh, Rennet Girl. Hooray, I made it to a live stream. Welcome. Okay. Thank you guys. Yeah, these are really amazing. Okay, it is Wednesday. I do have a hard cutoff time around 1:40, no later than 1:40. I have 14 questions. I don't know that I'll be able to get to all of them, but I can carry some over to tomorrow. Nails are smoking. Yes, they are. Oh, thank you, Kathy Anderson. Thank you. That was very sweet. All right. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy. Have we got questions today? We're just getting tick, tick, tick closer to justice. So if you're watching this on replay, you can go down in the description box. All the questions are listed in order, and I timestamp them as I go. So you can always come back to any of my videos, any of the live streams, and you can just go in the description box, pick and choose what you're interested in. You can be here with us live to... Oh, do you have an echo? Wait. Let me know if you have an echo. There shouldn't be an echo. But you can be here in the chat for the hanging out and everybody talking with each other and a kind of social thing. Or you can always come later and just, enjoy the buffet of questions. A little of that, a little bit of that. So, okay. All right. I'm trying to think what else. 10% of my income from everything Black and Orange goes to feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country. That's an ongoing thing. Okay. And they have a really great rating. They are a very, very good charity. They really do spend the mass bulk of their donations on getting food to people. So anyway. The plug is now fixed. The electrician came yesterday, and yeah, got it sorted out. So last night I celebrated by using my toaster oven. I didn't have the electrician was not cute, but that's okay. When I was a kid, I was perfectly fine as a child. I had a roof over my head. I had, meals and snacks. I went to good schools. I am very blessed. Very blessed. I was safe. But for some reason, even though my sisters are, there are 3 girls in the house, we never had an easy bake oven. Remember those, the easy bake oven? And now that I'm here and all I've got is my toaster oven, I feel like I finally have my easy bake oven. Yes, baking by light bulb. Man, just we don't have to worry about you electrocuting yourself. I'm really careful, so at least there's that. Anytime I was touching anything, the breaker was off, and the breaker was off, no electricity. So anyway. Okay, I never even finished my breakfast this morning, but that's okay. Okay, Kristen has a headline about news. Incredibly dumb. Former federal prosecutor mocks Eric Trump for telling New York AG, quote, "We are prosecuting you." What? Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you for bringing the great headlines. All right, so let me jump into the questions here. We're not loving it. At 7 minutes in, of course, I don't get specific numbers on things, but how many of the GOP knew about the Oaf Creeper's secret stash of weapons? Oaf Creeper. Did any elected officials help fund or procure them? Kristen brought a headline, Oaf Creeper secret weapon cache stored near Capitol meant to wage month-long battle. That's terrifying. So how many of the GOP leaders, the names we know, how many of them knew about this? I have real trouble believing, oh, we didn't know anything. Really? Alicia Marie says, I don't think many actually knew, but many heard rumors. Let's see. What do you think, Kitten? Boo Boo's in his bed. Duh. Well, I think Democrats are they're talking to people. They're getting information. They have so much information. Oh boy. All right. Temperance. Because we've been sold up, so far, we've been sold something of a pack of lies that, the way, part of it is not wanting to believe it was as bad as it was. That, oh, it was mob mentality, it got out of hand. They were really just trying to send the electoral votes back to the states. This temperance, this just feels like it isn't all that bad. Month-long siege with weapons. Lies. Knight of Swords. Justice for the cult members. Justice for the cult members. Well, this could be the Oaf Creepers. So Al Menzies asking if they did know, did they think they wouldn't get shot by the mob? Jamie Raskin, in his book, he was saying that while the room they were in was under siege, at least one of the Democrats, when they were crawling to try to get out, they actually went toward the Republicans to try to get out because they figured they'd be safer. So did Congresspeople, did Trump, did people with big names in the government, did they know? Sherry H is saying, don't forget the truck bomb was there a truck bomb? I don't know anything about that. And the attempted kidnapping murder of Governor Whitmer. Oh, yes. Can't forget that. Knight of Pentacles. People, fighting Republicans. Republicans who fight for the Republican cause. Card of the reading. Sun. All right, it's a white supremacist. Queen of Swords. Two of Swords. Devil. Five of Wands. I'm getting, for all the major arcana, yeah, this was, okay, we have to start with the basic understanding that Donald Trump really is a moron who can barely tie his own shoes. And what he does is the same shtick he's always done. But beyond that, he is incapable of putting together a full thing like this. But he surrounded himself with un-American, rotten human beings who potentially could. And between Giuliani and Meadows and My Pillow Guy and Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and Jim Jordan and on and on and on. And then the Oaf Creepers. There was something going on there. And the Oaf Creepers, one of the things they're saying is that they were there on January 6th to provide security. And part of the security was for Roger Stone. Atha Volpe is saying at least 140 Republicans may have known. No. Meadows knew a lot more than he's admitted to. We've kind of figured that out. Hemmed in. Getting mental image of a chain gang. It's a metaphor. But a bunch of people in prison. Two of Cups. Oh, they're getting to the bottom of it. Oh, I'm getting Swalwell. Swalwell is... he's suing Trump for January 6th. I don't know anything more about that, but I just got a flash of Swalwell. He's not giving up. Ace of Cups. They're going to get to the bottom of it. This is both aggressive law enforcement and it is what these people were trying to do. A hint of against what those people were trying to do. This right here is people are going to get voters are going to get really tired of it's like, can we just vote for Democrats, because all of these guys on the right, just so many of them are just constantly in the news, going to prison, on trial, indicted, charged, found guilty. And then on the Democratic side, the balance of power shifts where there's more Democratic power, and it reaches the point where it's clearing out the far right, the Trumpists from Congress. This is nice. I mean, in the sense, I'm getting a feeling of actually reaching a point where it's shameful to have been a Trumpist. I mean, we understand it's shameful now, but could lead to maybe the rest of the world cottoning onto that, rest of the country cottoning onto that. Helen has a good point. Won't Swalwell's suit lead to discovery? Here's to discovery against Trump. So, all right. It's big. This is big. All right, 17 minutes in. This was a question from yesterday. And I went looking. I couldn't find anything online or even on E. Jean Carroll's Twitter. Tish L was asking, what is the Justice Department doing with the E. Jean Carroll case? I can't find any information. Ever since there was some news, beginning of December or something, about it went to court whether or not the Justice Department could take over the case. I don't know. So what's the Justice Department doing about the E. Jean Carroll case? And it goes without saying, this makes me crazy. The DOJ should not be protecting Donald Trump. It's not a part of his job. He wasn't elected. It wasn't any part of his job to insult a citizen who had accused him. That's not part of his job. All right. DOJ, E. Jean Carroll. That poor woman. Bless her. Ace of Cups. Nine of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Devil. Getting money. See, the thing is my understanding is that the DOJ, if the DOJ takes over the case is dead. And it is a civil case. So, money? A money settlement? She's very much traumatized. And having to pay for what happened. And a rise of feminine power. So my understanding is this case may not do much, but the cards are saying differently. I vote that Agent Carroll gets justice, and disgusting thin skin should have to pay. There should be karma for what he's done. Pamela Bryant says Mary Trump gave her DNA. That's a point. Okay. Fingers crossed for her. We're rooting for you out here. Ms. Carroll, we are rooting for you out here. All right, 21. Okay, here's the thing. I have a question about Letitia James. Excuse me. She has started releasing the allegations against Trump after a lengthy investigations. Okay. But I actually want to start, we'll come back to that, because where I actually want to start is a part of that. All right. So at 22, let's just say 22 here, and we'll go back. All right. All right, at 22 minutes. Okay, this is, ready for this? This is the closest thing you're going to get to humor today in the news. Eric Trump was, he was, he went in and talked to the investigators. What's the word? Deposed. He was deposed 6 hours. He was deposed for 6 hours. Eric Trump spent 6 hours pleading the Fifth Amendment more than 500 times. I did the math. That's pleading the Fifth on average, every 43 seconds for 6 hours. Every 43 seconds for 6 hours. I know that, they can't hold that against you in a criminal court, but my understanding is they can in a civil. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But Eric, oh, and wasn't that the quote I mentioned up front? One of you were kind enough to put in. Apparently, Eric Trump has said to Letitia James, the New York AG, "We are prosecuting you." Eric, Faye asked, did they even get a chance to ask a question? Yo, things are a little unsteady, Eric, huh? I'm curious. I don't think I can do this. For 43 seconds?
43 seconds, starting now.
Okay. So, Hanged Man sent us their toast. King of Wands, there's Trump. Page of Swords, that is Bully. Queen of Cups. Actually, that's Ivanka. In what Letitia James was bringing out, it looks actually like the two people that have the most culpability in a lot of the fraud that they're being accused of was actually Junior and Ivanka. Set a timer for 43 seconds.
43 seconds, starting now.
So he's toast. Trump taught them to bully and do what they want. And then, of course, he went back and told his family the questions. The lawyer, went back and told the Trump family what kind of questions they were asking, and on and on and on. Scott Conwell saying Eric's mouth is writing checks. Okay, so just so you get a sense, those were 43 seconds. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. All right, Eric. And then we'll go on to the amazing things that Letitia James is bringing out. Thank you, Joanne. 10 of Cups. Oh, that's all the evidence, and it is just laid out for everybody to see. Perfect. DOC says it explains all the meltdowns on the Fox misinformation channel. Mm-hmm. 2 of Cups. Hanged Man. 8 of Wands. 3 of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. They've got it going. This is... They're... Letitia James, her office, they're stringing the Trumps up by their ankles. The Trumps are trying to throw everything they can at it. Oh, we're gonna have a plan. But no, this is how you did business, and this is law enforcement is coming for you. So buckle up, Eric, and the others of Grift Co. Eric Grift, and those others in Grift Co. So all right, at 29, let's go back to all right, Letitia James has started releasing the allegations against Trump after her lengthy investigations. Includes inflation of property value, filing misleading financial statements, et cetera, et cetera. So basically the question is she going to nail Grift Co., Trump, Mr. Grift himself, the Grift children, and Grift Co. to the wall? So, Letitia James, with all these allegations, is she going to nail Donald J. Grift, the Grift children, the brothers Grift, and Grift Co. to nail everything Trump world to the wall? Yes, K-Coop. Fingers crossed. All right. Well, I got a temperance card. Actually, the temperance card, it doesn't necessarily, it's starting to not necessarily feel like, oh, we're going to have to wait, or, oh, it's not going to be so bad. It's starting to feel like a things moving back more towards normal, where people not named Trump were actually held accountable for things occasionally. DLC says, my favorite grift that came out of that, saying Trump's penthouse was 30,000 square feet and worth $300 million. In reality, it was 10,000 square feet and said to be worth $100 million. Just triple it, just for funsies. There's a prosecutor, King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Fool. Yes. Prosecutor, what they did, how they did business. Swords through the heart. The kids and the fool himself. Yep. Well, Menzies says, may get thrown out because of the parallel criminal case. Don't feel like it. Will it get thrown out? Okay, well, Letitia James, will her case get thrown out because of the parallel criminal case? They have different purposes, though. The AG's civil case, my understanding is it has more to do with things like tax revenue, things like that, whereas the criminal case has to do with holding them accountable. I don't know. King of Pentacles. Well, normally, I mean, how many white-collar criminals are swanning around for the rest of their lives? Page of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Death. I think it's the Manhattan case that's going to have the biggest effect because they are criminal charges. We seem quite pleased in the center, but this isn't as big a deal civilly. Let me double check that. Will Letitia James will her charges, her cases get thrown out because of a parallel criminal case? Oh, Aspie, Third Eye lost 40 pounds, now going for 50. Congratulations. That's impressive. Queen of Wands. Ten of Swords, Emperor, Eight of Swords. I think it looks like it's going to stand. So, Joanne, will Weisselberg eventually flip? I got that he would do something eventually. Last time I read on it, which it's been a while, but I was getting it being like Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, and he's like at home. And like he's at home, but like the Trump kids are, or some of the Trump kids are locked away, something like that. But it was something like he's sitting at home and he's at some point down the road, it's like he's enjoying his time at home at like Thanksgiving or Christmas with grandkids and all this kind of stuff. And but he's sitting there thinking about what he did, what he said, and that the fallout for those other people. But he does it to help his own kids and himself. That's what I used to get. We'll have to check again. Holly and France don't hate me. I'm trying to keep weight on. If I lose any more, my health will be in trouble. Look, there are struggles. There are just, and I don't hate you, not at all. I think you're great. It's tough. If you can't put on weight, it's just as dangerous as if you can't stop gaining weight, or whatever. It's tough. So anyway, all right, at 36, let's have a look. Derek Trump spent 6 hours pleading the Fifth Amendment more than 500 times. Oh boy. All right, do I have this right? 36, yes. All right, Susan Nessen. Is it Nessen? Neeson? I'm sorry if I've mispronounced your name. Susan had a question. When do you think Trump supporters will turn on him? Trump supporters. See, here's part of the problem. They've pulled a French Revolution. They've made the French Revolution mistake. I've gone over this before. I won't go into too much detail, but basically, what happened during the French Revolution, it started before then. Louis XIV, the Sun King, he was called that because he pulled all of the power from the provinces to himself. Oh, I'm getting a low internet warning. Hopefully it'll recover here soon. Anyway, Louis XIV, he pulled all the power to himself. By the time his grandson was king, Louis XVI, Louis XVI was not a strong ruler. He liked to fix clocks in his spare time. He didn't, but he still had all of this power because of his grandfather. So the aristocracy and the clergy got together and they started rabble-rousing because they wanted to weaken the king's power. They wanted to force the king to give up some power. And so they forced the creation of, there was a one kind, then anyway, the upshot was they forced this kind of Congress, loose term used loosely, where the king had one vote, the aristocracy had one vote, the clergy had one vote, and all the rest of the populace had one vote. Well, this is the first time the populace had ever had a vote. And they weren't happy that they only had one. And to do this, they just, the aristocracy and the clergy, they just kept riling up the people. And it just spiraled. And it blew back on them. And to some extent, that's what's happened with Trump. It's reaching a point where you don't have to be a Trump supporter. You can just be out there and be a blatant, authoritarian, racist, rotten human being. But let's have a look at what they think of the Führer. When will you quit the Führer? Knight of Swords. Could be when a lot of the legal stuff comes out. Nine of Wands, High Priestess, Secrets, Moon, Chaos. Two of Wands, Communication, Hanged Man. It's when all this stuff comes out. It's when we finally really know what happened. Things like the Oaf Creepers, massive military stash of weapons being uncovered, and their plan to hold Congress hostage for like a month. There reaches a point where people will say enough. Some people will just say enough Trumpism, enough extremism, enough. But there are going to be plenty who are like, we don't need Trump. And I have been seeing that. I've been seeing states going ruby red and sapphire blue. Every state like solidifying their side and their position. Pluto returns stinks. But we're getting stuff up into the surface so we can clear it away. But man, it's rough. So, Linda McMurtry, Adam, do you have the Addams Family Tarot cards, 22 cards? I don't, but I only use full decks. So, 78. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. But you know I love the Addams Family. Are you kidding? Have you met me? Anyway, okay, 42. Oh, boy. Oh, right. Kathy Parker was asking, was Wilbur Ross involved in January 6th? And here's the thing. Sarah was kind enough to look for me. Wilbur Ross is like 84? I thought he was like 105. Mr. Slippers. I thought Mr. Slippers was like 20 years older than he is. That's a hard 84. And I said that to Sarah and my friend Sarah, and she said, well, evil will do that to you. Thank you, Mandy. Oh, boy. So, Mr. Slippers, that's what I call him, Wilbur Ross with his little velvet slippers. So, and then I just love the mental image of Mr. Slippers with his little velvet slippers and the guy with the headdress, the shaman, next to the shaman. Fashion. Oh. Eileen Riley says, Wilbur's 185, isn't he? Well, apparently he's 84. So I don't get the sense he was involved in January. He's a nasty piece of work. He is a really nasty shriveled raisin, and I'm not talking about him physically. I'm talking about his soul, talking about his personality, his person. He's just the shriveled, narrow-minded. Ugh. But Knight of Swords. Okay, that's January 4th, and that's the hard military side. Electra Storm says he was involved in the census, though. Oh, absolutely. He was instrumental in wrecking the census. No question. But was he involved with January 6th? Oh, that was for the youngsters, the youngins. No, that was Trump and younger people and nope. I just don't. Jane Weiniger is saying, as one psychic said, we will all be surprised and horrified at who will be implicated in this mess. Yeah, this whole thing is going to be really scary. But he's not. You know, I've even seen there are women who, their big thing is like yoga. And then in their 90s, they are just up and around and flexible and doing their thing. It's like, oh boy, I need to start doing some yoga. Whew. Wilbur Ross looks like he's 105. He just does. I'm glad I made you laugh, Maria. Okay. At 46, Wonder Carroll was asking, will Biden's popularity recover before midterms night? I think so too. Sandy Miller says Tai Chi is awesome too. Yeah. And I think as I'm shuffling, I'll say, I think it comes to a surprise to some people that Tai Chi is actually martial arts. There's a movie that came out or is coming out or something, and it's like the Tai Chi master or something, and it's a younger man, but that's his thing. That's his martial art. It's Tai Chi, and it's meant to really be defensive. You're not meant to use it to go conquer whatever. It's like against what Tai Chi is all about. Interesting stuff. Anyway. M. Kelpie says, Jamie Raskin says it will be revealed and surprising. I believe that. I'm already just reeling at the store of weapons and their plans, and no wonder Trump wouldn't ask them to leave. 40. Okay, so now. How long did I talk for? Did I just lose time somewhere? Why was this at 36 and now it's at 48? I talked too much. I think it's official. Somehow I just lost 10 minutes somewhere on my own show. Will Biden recovers popularity before midterms night? Yep, Wilbur Ross is 84, yeah. Biden's popularity. I seem to remember Barack Obama being none too popular at about this time in his presidency. Am I correct in that? Polly Wanda Wilbur, another handsome devil. Yeah. Ace of Cups. That's really good. That is a rise of Democratic popularity. Page of Cups. Temperance. Six of Swords. King of Cups. King of Pentacles. There are some Republicans. It's not going to be, the midterms are not going to be a blowout. It is. There are Republicans who are going to win seats, but I have been getting the Democrats staying in power and maybe gaining some. But don't expect a blowout. However, people are going to be much happier with them in general. And it's going to have to do with some people going to prison, going up the river, being held accountable for the kind of heinous things that have been happening. You see, the problem is, who was it? Was it Colbert? Kirsten Sinema came out and she was saying will his popularity improve? I believe so, but the midterms aren't going to be a blowout either against him or for him. just so you know. But I think it was Colbert. But somebody was saying about Kirsten Sinema's speech on the floor, how she was saying that this bipartisan blah, blah, blah is the will of the people. And it was like, no, the Democrats are representing 41 million more people than the Republicans are in the Senate. 41 million people. Midterms. I just want a quick extra couple cards on the midterms. Magician. Queen of Swords. Eight of Swords. That's all law enforcement. That's all law enforcement. Okay. Okay. You to do 5130. Tiffany Lilly. 5130. Does Trump regret running for president? If only because he opened himself up to all of this legal scrutiny and these investigations. That's a really interesting question, because the narcissism, it's cutting both ways. Does he regret becoming president? No. Oh my gosh. I was the most powerful man in the world. I was blah, 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 blah. Right? Not representative. I was chosen to be the leader of, 300 and, what are we up to, 40 million people or something? And I had that great honor, which is, if I was ever, if I was president, try not to laugh. Oh no, please go ahead and laugh. I would be humbled. I would feel the weight of the responsibility, and I would work hard to get good people around me, people with important credentials and history and experience, and he has none of that. None. Zero. Zippo. Frida Smet says the narcissism is stronger than yourself. Helen says, do not believe him capable of regret. Just rage at everyone he feels. Ruined it for him. Yes. Polly Wanda sharing little known fact. Trump's 2 bone spurs were not a foot condition. They were growing from his forehead. Yeah, okay. Joanne says at first he was shocked. Oh, I remember that. But boy, did he get over that quickly. Does he regret becoming president? Sherry H says, I would be terrified of making the wrong decision. See, and that's why I would want someone like you in charge, or I would want you in charge, because you would take these things seriously. He was just trying to raise his image. He enjoyed being in front of the crowds. He enjoyed the attention. He was trying to make more money. He had no intention. He really had no intention of winning. Well, he liked the thought, but that isn't why I got into it. Sun. 9 of Swords. That's a lot of legal worry. There's the 4 of Pentacles. Full. Ace of Wands. No, I think he's had too much fun. He's had fun venting all of his racism and cruelty and everyone kowtowing to him, and yeah, it's causing him some legal stress, but I don't think he is completely, it doesn't feel like he's completely accepted that he is legally, he's got a terrible future legally. I don't think he's accepted that. Yep. Helen says regret requires the ability for self-reflection. Yep. Tiffany Lilly says he's torn my family apart. So sad. There's been a lot of that. My parents and I agreed to never talk about politics. Never. So we get along the same way we get along great. As long as we don't talk about politics. As long as we don't have, anyway. Holly Friend says Trump has gotten away with it for so many years. He can't imagine a different scenario. No, that's true. But it's also, he's got that Norman Vincent Peale positive thinking nonsense. Positive thinking will help you, but there's intent, there's vibration, there's more to it than just put on blinders, do whatever you want. Yeah, so anyway. All right, 57. I'm so sorry, Electra. Electra says I don't have that choice. Sorry. All right, 5730. Question about Gargoyle. Will Kimberly Gargoyle and Eric Trump's phone records be helpful in recovering more evidence? Ooh. All right. Gargoyle, Eric. Gargoyle, Brother Grift. Polly Wanda, what does Trump see when he looks in a mirror? Oh boy, there's a question. You've piqued my curiosity. Let me refresh this page. Otherwise, I'll be here for 5 minutes while the chat thing tries to reload. Thank you again for being here. Yes, Holly and friends, positive thinking doesn't mean being in complete denial. Polly wanted to copy. Okay. After this, we're going to ask that. All right, but right now we are at 59. You guys make it possible for me to do this every day. Thank you. You make it so much fun. Sherry H, not sure I want to know the answer to that. Or what Trump feels when he sees when he looks in the mirror. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to getting into that energy, but that's kind of what I'm here to do. So, Gargoyle, younger brother Grift. Are there phone records? Will Kimberly Gargoyle and Eric Trump's phone records be helpful in recovering more evidence? Oh, Gargoyle's energy is particularly strong today. I can't even figure out who to compare her to. She's as crude as Gates. She is mean as a snake. Yeah, I'm not really even sure. Anyway, younger brother Grift. Eric Grift. Phone records. So, will phone records help out? That's a card of the messenger. That's good. All right. Kimberly Gargoyle. Your phone records, will they help evidence? I'd say yes. I've got chaos. I've got a death card. These are major arcana, and then I've got insult to injury. And swords are not only they can be communication, but it can also be law enforcement or legislative stuff. So that doesn't look good for her. All right, and what about Eric Grift? Will your phone records help out? Oh boy. Not as much. I don't know how much Sniffy Sr. wasn't even taking Sniffy Jr.'s calls. So what was the likelihood he was going to listen to Eric? Eric knew a lot of stuff through his brother, it feels like, but he wasn't in the center of things. But what Eric has that the other Trump kids do not, I don't like her, but he has a wife with common sense. I don't like her, but she's actually a better ally than any of the spouses. Yes, Frida Smith. The best is yet to come. Yeah. Oh boy. So I'm going to do what I'm here to do, which is read on politics and politicians, because it has an effect on our collective futures. 103. Okay. All I wanted to ask, what does Trump see when he looks in a mirror? Rob D says, when you connect with Gargoyle, the quote, recognize your foul stench comes to mind. Yeah. All right, what does Trump see when he looks in the mirror? He spent a lot of time alone watching TV. And he talks to himself in the mirror. When he can't get hold of the people on the phone that he wants to talk to, he can't vent, he looks in the mirror and he just spouts all kinds of gross, racist, angry. I mean, I'll be the first one to say I talk to myself all the time. I've lived roughly on my own. I talk to the cats all the time. I talk to myself. Something will happen and I'll be like, oh, so that's how that worked. I just speak thoughts out loud. But this is like looking in the mirror and getting off on how tough he looks, how aggressive he is. Like walking around in his underwear, his bedroom, like in his underwear with a great big Trump see? Nostalgia. He sees what he thinks he was. 8 of Wands, delusion. 8 of Wands, 7 of Cups, world. Can you say narcissism? Emperor. That's that aggression I was talking about. This is just the delusion. This is, I am the center of the world, the emperor, the mega rich man. This is the dynasty card. He's a narcissist. He thinks he really does think he is the center of the universe. For just a second there, I almost started feeling sorry for him. No, when he's venting in front of the mirror, because he's, can't get hold of the people he wants to. No, there's nothing. All for think no. This man has, according to doctors, quite a few of them, he has narcissistic personality disorder. He thinks he's a medieval king. Literally, everyone is supposed to be loyal to him at pain of death. And he is not loyal to anybody because he is the king, of course. They will all lay down their lives for me because I am king. But if be loyal to one of them, they are only one of all of my subjects. Narcissism is a nasty, nasty mental illness. Yes, guides definitely nailed that. Wow. Rob D, the cards have spoken yet again. Wow. Oh, does he practice his presentations in front of the mirror like Hitler did? I think Elizabeth M is asking that. Does he practice his presentation in front of the mirror like Hitler did? Yes, but it's also, if he got a zinger out, or if he thinks he said something clever, he'll just repeat it over and over in front of the mirror, just reliving that moment of he doesn't. You're right. I mean, I that was I made an overstatement. Don Gubb says 45 misspoke so often there's no way he pre-read his statements. No, practicing in front of the mirror is more his way of just letting his narcissism run free. It's not learning a script, which is, I think, what Hitler did, but yeah. Okay. Joanne Hall says Trump's new flag for 2024 says coronate Trump. I hope that's not going to be permanent. I was absolutely horrified. Have you guys seen some of the promotional materials for DeSantis for president? I kid you not. Make America Florida. Please no. All right, 110. Whew. Will Trump get a Hail Mary in the next hours? I think it's 6 Eastern, which would be 5 Central, 3.5 hours. because the National Archives is going to release, I read the article this morning, they're not releasing everything. They say that there are 4 pages that they're thinking of releasing, and we're not really sure what's on those 4 pages. But they said they're going to release those 4 pages this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time, unless there's a court injunction. It is scary. It's only 4 documents. Has anybody heard anything? Joanne, not the Supreme Court documents. Nothing on that yet. No, I think just, no. Nostalgia. Oh, I have a National Archives card now. So that feels like, oh, okay. Cool. 4 pages of what? Exactly, we don't know. I'm with you, Elizabeth M. 8 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. I'm not seeing court. I'm seeing 2 cards of evidence. And I'm seeing work-related matter in the center. So maybe they'll let this through. Oh boy. Well, I guess we'll see. Steve's saying that's okay. They can release 4 pages and leak the rest. It's an ongoing mess. All right, I'm starting to run low on time. Let me make sure. 1:13. All right, let's check on the current state of Russia, whether or not they're going to invade Ukraine. And the other 3 questions I have, I will do first thing tomorrow. I'm here 365 days of the year. And I take your questions out of the chat really in the half an hour before I go on. So from like 11:30 to 12, I'm pulling your questions out of the chat. Just put them in the chat in all caps. Or actually, before I go on, it doesn't even have to be in all caps. 13:30. All right. Russia has amassed, last I heard, 127,000 troops on the border of Ukraine. Someone in the Senate has come up with a bill for more sanctions against Russia. Don't do it, Putin. The only friendly advice I can give you, don't do it. What is Putin going to do? Is Putin going to invade Ukraine? Well, the rest of Ukraine. Wrestle reads, are you still going to do readings with us? Oh, that could be fun. Why not? I'll have to make a note of that in a minute. Oh, moving weapons. Moving weapons, refugees. This could get ugly. It's the little people. It's the people on the ground and the kids who get hurt. Those who are weakest who get hurt. 8 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, 10. Okay, my stomach just went sour. 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, 10 of Cups. He really wants the Soviet Union back. I agree, Joanne. He is a heinous being. Two cards in the middle. Russia attacking Ukraine, right? Well, the message. Yeah, it definitely is sent a message. Plan. And two cards in the center, temperance and worry. I'm getting the dance. I'm still getting the dance. For what it's worth. I'm crossing. No, I'm not. My foot's over the line. My foot's over the line. Woo! Can't catch me. See, I'm not over the line. I'm not over the line. Oh, my toe's over the line. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? My toe's over the line. That's what I'm getting. Still. Atha Volpe says reports are that Putin plans to attack his own partisans and blame Ukrainian forces. Yeah, the false flag. Yeah, they uncovered that, so hopefully he won't do it. But that's NATO. He's pulling NATO together. If he was smart, he'd let NATO just continue to bicker amongst themselves, but he's pulling them together. King of Cups, Justice, Five of Wands. This isn't war, but these are skirmishes. Biden restoring the balance, skirmishes. It's right about to tip, but not, but tipping. No, it's going to tip over. It's going to start. No, that's all I get. Over and over and over and over. So anyway, but that's going to do it for me today. And because it's Wednesday, so I've got a hard cutoff time, I'm afraid. But the 3 questions that are left, I'll put those up for tomorrow. And the one question was left over from yesterday. I did answer today. So yeah. So it is 1:38 p.m. here in Chicago. At 4 o'clock, I'll be over on the Book Art Media channel to do 4 creative sprints. You're always welcome. And I will be right back here tomorrow. All right. And I'm making, actually, before I go, I'm making a note of that idea of, I'll use one of my cool translucent. I got these cool translucent sticky notes. I love this stuff. I love stuff like this. And of course, I'll make it the most obnoxious color I can. Ooh, and I'll get a Sharpie. So that's the idea of tarot readings. With viewers. Let me see if I can find a way to make that feasible. I'm trying to organize all the different projects that I want to get through. So I've got that now. Yeah, this is really cool. It's hard to see here, but it's a really reddish orange, but it's also see-through. It takes so little to make me happy. Have a great Karen B says I've used those to help learn tarot. Oh, cool. All right. Hang in there. Don't forget that there are good days ahead. There really are. All right. And I will see you right back here tomorrow. Thank you. Take care.